funny part about Madden is I've played these games for years. I never played football, but I've learned. So I've basically learned everything about the ins and outs and the X's and O's and play. How plays develop. I've learned a lot from those games, and people who don't play them say, "Well, you didn't learn anything." Well, you really do. I can play a game of Madden, and if you're watching it, if you're just sitting in a chair watching it, it's gotten to the point where it's like you're watching a real game.
It's almost gone too far. My video game arc, basically, the first system I ever had of the recent iteration was a Sega Genesis, and the first game I got was Madden 93, which was
That's
great.
What is that? 17 years ago?
It was 16 years ago. And just to see it develop, there was a point somewhere in the middle where it just became so, all-inclusive and so many different things you could control. The game this year, you're going to be able to control, defenders in a fumble scrum. You can, juke the quarterback to avoid a sack. It's too much. When you have the hand-eye coordination that a journalist has, there's no chance.
Well, Comey, we go back to the days of Tech Mobile. I'm a little bit older than you.
I go back. I go all the way back to this game for
the Radio Shack,
Atari called I think it was called 3-Man Fight.
I have that game.
It
was 10-yard fight.
It was
10-yard
fight. It was 3 blocks, and they would go, and they'd come at you, and you had to move your 3 blocks in their way, and that was football.
I'll bring in the Atari someday. We'll play. So
I have played a lot of Tech Mobile since. We had the Nintendo back in the day, but Tecmo Super Bowl still holds a special place.
For me, it was Tecmo Bowl. Then we went to the Joe Montana on the Sega Genesis, which is kind of like the precursor to Madden.
That game was kind of terrible.
And then all of a sudden, Madden comes out of nowhere as being the ultimate football game.
Those were fun.
And
they were better when they had Pat Summerall do. They used to have Madden and Pat Summerall. And every time a kicker would miss, Pat Summerall would say, "Oh no, what a mistake."
They also were better when you could intentionally injure guys in the huddle before plays started.
Yeah, those were great.
You'd hear it, and the little ambulance would actually come out onto the field.
Yes, they've. You would think that at some point they have. I think there are some other games where they try to make it more wacky. What's the
NFL Street, NBA Ballers, and all these games. But with the Madden culture that's developed, I read something interesting because I do a lot of reading up on video game news and stuff. And
why is that?
Because I'm a fan.
Oh, well-rounded individual, John.
Yeah, I'm not a big gamer per se, but I do like to see what kind of stuff is coming down the pipeline. Okay. And one of the articles that I read was talking about that a lot of college programs are thinking about working with video game developers to basically take the Madden formula and put their playbooks into a Madden game.
That makes sense.
Using that, because the kids all want to play the Madden, as they say, the kids love to play the Madden.
They do love to play the Madden.
And so by putting it in that way, so what we're seeing is how you learn football, could be how players end up learning their playbooks, how they end up learning to play football.
Yeah, what better way is there to,
It's a true simulator.
Make learning fun.
It is.
Just like with the toddlers.
Well, I got to meet Madden.
John Madden?
Yes, John
Not
Madden.
Frank Caliendo playing John Madden.
You have met a lot of people.
Well, it was last year. I was at the Hall of Fame game in Canton, and I was allowed to go up in the press box, even though I didn't have a press pass.
How'd you do that?
It's a secret.
Okay.
Us reporters will do anything to get in the press box.
I understand. So you used your journalistic wiles.
Yes.
To get in.
And I got up there, and he was getting ready for the game, and I went in, and I shook his hand, and I introduced myself, and that was pretty exciting.
Did he say, "Bam, I think you're going to be pretty special. You got to get the hits. Go, bam."
He it didn't look like he made much sense. He was just like, "Oh, yeah, nice to meet you."
He must meet a lot of people.
Yeah, he must have been the 4,700,000th person he's ever met.
Yes.
By the way, my Madden impression I just did was a little too much like Bill Cosby. All I need was putting in the jazz.
I am your father.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, I don't like playing Madden because I'm not good at it.
See, I'm horrible at it. That's where I come down on it now. It's sad.
It's too intense. I buy it every year. I actually look through the flyers to see if there's any discounts because Rob's birthday is in September, and Madden.
That's your boyfriend, Rob.
My boyfriend, Rob, and Madden always comes out end of August, as everybody knows, and that's usually on the list of video games. Long list.
Buy it for him.
Yes, long list of video games. That's usually one of the top 2 or 3.
Along with the wrestling games.
Sometimes wrestling, mostly like the fighting games. So I usually buy it for him. We play it once or twice. I'm not good at it, and he plays it about 200 more times, and that's it.
See, when I play Madden, there's times, honestly, where I get so into it when I drop back as the quarterback, and it sounds dumb, but you get a little sense of what it must be like. You really do get a little sense of what it must be like as the quarterback to have that sense of knowing where your guy is going to go. And when you get that as a player, it's
that's only
really
because
fun.
They drew it out for you on the play.
They did, but it's hard to do. You drop back, and all of a sudden everyone's going crazy.
I feel the pressure of these guys coming at me.
Yes.
I'll tell you an interesting Madden-related story. A few years ago, myself and another writer who was covering the Patriots were talking in the press box during a preseason game, and we decided, we're going to try to get journalist review copies of Madden. They must supply them to football writers to be able to review the game. So we started the process of trying to get basically free copies of Madden. It ain't happening.
It's impossible. Yeah.
They don't need to give out review copies of Madden.
So they don't give out any, as far as you know.
Yeah, Madden,
as far as I know,
the Madden franchise seems to be pretty.
They're pretty solid. Yeah.
Well, especially now they had ESPN this year. Basically spent all day Thursday, which is in the future as I sit here now, but we're in podcast parlance. It's already happened. Like the Monday Night Football broadcast on Thursday night was dominated by Madden.
Yeah,
and we've now gotten emails, and I'd imagine other media outlets have too, where we can use the Madden graphics. Like they've sent us, screenshots of Tom Brady.
Yeah,
we can use that in our coverage.
Tom Brady was great on Entourage, by the way.
He was pretty good. It was
quite good.
It was probably his best television gig to date so far.
Is it better than Dustin Pedroia in the Sullivan Tire commercials?
It's sad, but
that's my measuring stick.
The Red Sox just do not produce good quality pitchmen.
I think that the generally football players are more interesting than baseball players. Baseball players just seem to be dull dudes. I mean,
well, the NFL also does have those classes in which they train guys. Matt Light just went through it this offseason, where they train guys to become television presence.
But it's more. Don't you think it's more like the game? NFL, the football is about its exuberance, and you jump around and you hit. Whereas baseball is just like
there's a lot
man stands in box,
sitting.
Man adjusts gloves.
It's no golf in the terms of excitement.
What is golf? Is golf a sport?
We did that show already.
By the way, my golf is a sport. My golf is not a sport argument was picked up by, I'm sure it was coincidental, but Greg, Mike Thomas from our friends at the Fall River Herald, he also made the golf is not a sport argument. And I wholeheartedly agree still.
Congratulations.
Even
you're all wrong.
We did get some viewer mail on the X Games segment when we commented on whether or not X Games are considered sports, and the person who commented said,
"Was it respectful?"
There was a cuss, wasn't there?
Weak. Just one word.
Just weak.
Weak.
I think I might know who that is.
Yeah.
I got the Pats ratings for Madden, and they've this is a little inside Madden here.
How did you get this already?
They've had it out for a while. But apparently the Madden ratings have, in the past, they had all kind of been high. They've skewed, the numbers have been high. They've readjusted it so there's a bigger gap between star players and reserve players.
Well, Riche Caldwell was like a 97.
In the past, he'd be higher. But the Pats have, I think, the lowest rated player in all of Madden. I feel a little bad for him. Kevin O'Connell, who's probably going to be their number 3 quarterback.
I'm going to make him my starter now.
But, I mean, the guy is rated as a 41. I think the next lowest...
There is a guy lower than that. ESPN had a story.
There is one guy lower.
The lowest rating, I don't remember who it is. I want to say maybe it's BK Sam's. Was a 34 is the lowest rating.
PK Sam? He used to be a Patriot.
Something like that. I can't remember who it was.
But